So in 2013, I had a nervous breakdown and I landed myself up in a mental health clinic. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. I was only 31. I thought, well, if my life is fine, then what the hell has happened that has put me here in the first place? Obviously, checking myself in. My wife was with me at the time. You look around at the people and you start being judgy. I mean, judging myself, but judging everyone else around me as well. Asking myself why I ended up here, because if my life was going well, my business was doing well, nothing to complain about, no big life events, nothing that put me here, then what the hell has happened? And the thing that I learned while I was booked in is that I had just become overloaded. And it's through obviously faults of my own. You're not aware of it at the time that you're doing it. You've learned all of this after the fact, but initially you aren't aware of it. And basically what you're doing is that you are overcommitting and you are not being able to manage yourself effectively, and then your body starts hijacking your emotional state and trying to course correct. And by doing so, sometimes it makes things worse. Not better immediately, even though that's what it's trying to do, and it's not wrong for doing it, but the thing is that it's doing its best to protect you. So what happened was that you sort of start to feel all these different emotional states, and none of them are the same all the time, and you keep switching from one to the other. The main one that you feel all the time, though, that is constantly there, is a complete sense of exhaustion. And exhaustion is not the same as tiredness. Tiredness is when you are tired, you can go sleep. You can catch it up. Hopefully, if you sleep in over the weekend, you catch up your sleep deficit. That's if you are working too hard, putting in too many hours, and you become tired from having done that. That one's quite easy to fix, but exhaustion is not. I can't really explain exhaustion to you unless you've been there for yourself, but what I like to maybe liken it to is lighting a wet match. There's no way to get a spark. You can try what you want. I did everything. I did yoga, meditation, I had vitamin B injections for low energy. Obviously caffeine is a fix, but that doesn't even work. And there's nothing that you can actually do to dig yourself out of this hole. You just don't have this internal spark that can spark any form of energy to push you out of where you are. And further compounding that is that you're already dealing with things that are happening in a day-to-day work environment, your life, anything that's happening around you. And because you've now got this extra emotional state that you're dealing with, things seem harder than they actually are. So your day-to-day, which should be normal and you should be able to get through, even that becomes difficult. And how I'm always explaining it is that you have got this overload from all of these open mental tabs. And the more tabs that you've got open, the more resources get consumed and the more your system becomes bogged down. In the old days, you used to defragment your computer, and that's sort of like clearing out all the clutter about things that are misplaced and putting it back into order so that you can start thinking again. And that's where you're unable to do that. And because all of these resources are consumed and you've got extra things that you're dealing with, the hole just gets deeper. And that's when the breakdown happens. It's a slow degradation, and then all of a sudden, one day your body just decides enough is enough. It can't anymore. And then it just shuts down. And it's not this major thing that happens. You don't just like fall over and collapse and have a breakdown. It's just this deadness that comes over you. It's a freeze response that your body puts you into because it's trying to maintain the status quo. It's trying to protect you from any further damage that's occurring. So then you go into this freeze response, and then you don't know what's going on. You can see all these things in front of you that need to happen, all of your work tasks, all of the day-to-day things that you need to do, but nothing sort of registers. You like swiping through, turning a page, but you're not reading anything. You see it in front of you, but nothing gains traction. And because you're unable to clear out already open tabs and you've got new ones coming in, it just continues on a downward trend. And if this is something that you're going through currently or you've experienced it before, I just want to let you know that it does sound all doom and gloom and like it's the end of the world, but it's not. You can get out of it. It is a shit ton of work to do it, but I'm living proof that you can. It might seem counterintuitive for you who's in that state now where you think like nothing is actually going to help you, but having been there myself, I know that it is possible. And the only way to do it is to start with these small trust exercises. I'm going to be discussing this all in separate videos because there's too much to cover in one. But as long as you can slowly start with small items to start clearing out that clutter, but from a safe state, then by not burdening your system with additional things and slowly clearing out smaller things, you start freeing up those resources and start making space available for you to do other things. And like I said, it's a complete slog. It's an uphill climb. It does take time. It's not a quick fix. There's nothing, because you have to learn new skills to deal with it. You have to be able to fend off outside influences that are coming in. So there's a lot of internal work that you need to do, but it's doable. So the reason that I've created this channel and all the things that I'm discussing is around this entire topic. It is about who you are as a person, understanding yourself, because that's where all of this starts, and just generally being able to work with yourself and not against yourself, and ensuring that you don't fall into this bottomless pit of despair in the first place. So in the next video, I'm going to be discussing the 5, what I'll call them critical signs or critical red flags that my body was throwing at me that I completely ignored. And if I had have listened to those 5 signs, then things would have been completely different.